2. And I think you've got them all now. You need to sign them all.
Well, I'll do them while you're talking.
Right. Okay, item number 1. Are there any nominations for the chair and chairperson?
I propose not.
I'll second.
Are there any other nominations? Yes. I don't like it.
Because I've put has to be done. Somebody has to do it.
Yes, so change that. Right, item number 2, election of vice chair person. Okay.
Propose Peter.
I'll say that. Are you going to be vice chairperson, Peter? Are there any other nominations? Thank you very much. Congratulations. Item number 3, apologies for absence.
We've got Councillor Royden, Ryder and Durham. I need to sign that now.
So we've got Councillor Moon.
So it's matching with the Borough Council's annual meeting, which perhaps overlooked when we were setting the date, I'm not sure.
We didn't have a lot of choice because we didn't have a lot of options with rooms and things. So.
Yeah. I know Anne Reeve is also, she's just flown back into the country today and she's a bit jet lagged, so doesn't feel up to coming straight to the case. I think some of us thought it was done on Thursday.
I would think.
Yeah, so anyone else? Any word for Catherine?
Not heard from Catherine.
Oh, sorry. I forgot you're not in.
I'm not in the Labour group anymore.
Oh.
Okay. Right, anyway, that's it. So we've got apologies, Charlie, Wendy, John, Durham, and no, Stephen as well.
And Anne.
Sorry?
Anne Reeve.
And
Anne Reeve.
yes. Okay. Item number 4, declarations of interest on the agenda. Have we received any written requests? No.
There was one that I was potentially if the discussion on the Scouts comes up.
True.
So my son's a member of the Golden Portnoy group. So I don't know whether that classes as.
I think if you're, it's a different group, so it's not simply Brickhill.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Carry on.
That's my first one. Yeah. I think you're okay.
Okay. Good.
I should declare an interest in item 9, shouldn't I?
Okay.
I will not vote.
No. So what you need to do really, Stuart, just for simplicity, is to just send a vote in, one of these written requests for dispensation, so you could talk, you could take part in conversations, discussions, sorry, but maybe decide not to vote if you so chose.
Was this the first time I've seen it?
Yeah. You okay with that, Sue?
Yes.
Right, so moving on then to item 5, to confirm the minutes of the meeting held on the 4th of April. Are they an accurate record of our meeting? I remember that far back, it's a long time ago.
I'm not sure I was there.
I'm sure you were too.
Was it?
According to the minutes you were there.
Ah.
You're happy with the minutes?
Your name was on the list, that's it.
Right.
So, thank you very much. Item number 6, to consider and reactionary option to fill the 2 vacancies for the South and West Ward. I'm going to suggest actually that we haven't got a parish newsletter coming up, and in order to spread the word out as far as we, as best we can, probably be better if we could include it in there. But that would mean we won't actually then, if we did that approach, we wouldn't be able to select or appoint people until the July meeting.
I agree, because we won't get the newsletter out. I don't think
for the
before
June.
that.
No.
Okay.
So we were, Sue and I had probably email conversations about advertising it ready for the June meeting, but that would only ever be through, essentially through social media and the news and the notice boards. So the way to get it to a bigger audience is through the newsletter. Is everyone happy with that?
Yeah.
And you can ask people if they do want to be co-opted, they need to probably write in with a little statement and perhaps suggest they come on to that meeting in July.
Well, that's what we usually do. That's what the advert says. It says, send in a resume by itself and come along to the meeting that the co-option took place. So we can put it on the notice boards and in the newsletter and cover everything.
Everyone happy with that?
Yeah.
Right, item number 7, public open session, no matter to the public. Item number 8, to review and approve the committee structure of the parish council and to let members to the following existing committees and working groups. Planning. So, Chris, are you happy, Karen? Planning?
Yeah.
Peter?
Volunteer for planning, please.
Well done.
Thank you.
Adam?
Very well, which is excellent.
Excellent. Stuart?
If it's small,
It's a fascinating subject.
I know it's a very fascinating
It
subject.
could serve you, we may need him for the allotments. Don't give away all the jobs to one person.
You can be on more one committee.
Yes,
No, I can't.
don't tell me.
I've gone down the front. No one else
The
will.
loose steam.
So that's 4. Any other not volunteers for planning?
So we've got
Is anyone not here who normally is on planning? So we need to talk to the other councillors as and
well,
when.
maybe when new people come on and the people who are missing, they might rush
Yeah.
forward. So we're going to have,
So Peter, Tim, Chris and Stuart for the moment.
yeah,
On to the Finance and Personnel Advisory Group. This is advisory, in other words it doesn't have any delegated powers, but it deals with, normally we try and review the budget in advance of agreeing it, and also personnel matters. And in the past it's been myself, Corinne and Catherine.
happy to do that.
You want to do that?
I think Catherine would be happy to carry on.
Is everyone happy with that? I mean, basically, I was going to come along to these. Certainly, I would say the finance meetings come to that. That's very open as and when we have them. But personnel is really obviously we're dealing with some confidential matters there, so it's probably better not to have too many of those meetings.
Did you say this committee, subcommittee, has no delegated?
It's no delegated powers, no. So everything we do, we have to come back to here for confirmation or ratification.
Quite interested in the budget, but I don't want to push anyone at once.
Well, we'll make that and so as and when we have the meetings, we will have the fun.
Okay, well that's fine on that basis.
Yeah. Okay, and move on to the allotments of open spaces committee.
Yeah.
Vince, anyone else want to?
What, like being chair?
She was at Mark.
I have been on it.
When do they for meetings? I think we've got one this month.
Yeah, no, different. I mean, unlike planning, which is always, you know, before the meeting, a council meeting, allotments of open spaces it's a different day.
Yeah. It's probably in about 2 weeks' time, but we
Yeah,
do.
I mean, what sort of time?
Oh, an evening, so it's similar. 7 or 7:30.
7:30.
Yeah.
Traditionally, same as this.
Yeah, I mean, if provided like that, provided it fits in with something we can do.
Well, that's my orders.
So at the minute we've got yourself and
Yeah, Anne's been on it.
I'm tempted to gracefully step down from allotments, if that's possible.
of
course it is.
the toilet. Oh,
Right, okay, me, let's move on to,
I don't want to, but I will.
I said it for your new people, perhaps Councillor Durham.
Yeah, I mean, if someone else is
let's
maybe
put it,
then-
can put it in there for now, and if and when anyone else decides to fight for it, then,
It's initiation.
okay, and hopefully, right, so that's 4. Thank you. Item number 9, to nominate one person to vote at the general meetings of the Brickhill Community Association.
That was James.
It was James. Anyone want to do that? It's only, let's say, once a year activity. Well, assuming they only have one general meeting a year, which is the normal situation.
Good look at me.
I mean, I'm a member of the association anyway, so I don't,
Are you able to vote at it as such?
as a personal member, and you're all eligible to join as the association. The benefits are none. But you can all join. But equally, the parish council has this, unique position as well.
Okay, I haven't got capacity for that.
No, that's fine.
So who's it going to be?
I'll do it.
Well done, Tim. Fantastic.
Just so that I've got this in my head, is that separate to the role that you fulfill in the community association?
Remember, I happen to be there. I'm there as a personal member. aren't I?
I thought you were there as representing the parish.
No.
This
So this is where we have attempted to streamline to make it very clear that official communications between the parish and the association should go via the clerk. Right. I may have some knowledge of some aspects of what the parish is up to.
So there is no
I do actually
motion
suppose-
on the parish to sit on the management committee then?
No.
That's okay.
And I do act as a host person from time to time, when I'm given stuff from down there, I deliver it up here. And that's about is some of my...
Should have minute that.
Right. So,
It's fine.
Or it's recording the actual.
the other thing, obviously, we have had this informal group of liaison between the parish and the community association, which is not actually on the agenda as a group. But it might be worth us noting that we haven't met for a year because we've had this backlog of work that is only really just nearly completed.
I think nearly all of the things we discussed have actually happened.
Apart from the boiler.
The boiler, yes.
Yeah.
The boiler is in hand.
That's the lift. Sorry,
Well, you skipping the
I know,
business
sorry, I'm
because
not-
it's on the,
on the agenda.
it's on the agenda.
So, is it worth noting if anyone wishes to be in that liaison group from the parish council? Chris has been on it, I've been on it, and Catherine. Shall we continue with that? Okay. Right, thank you. So moving on then to item 10, to receive an update from Woodlands Park. Chris, thank you for your report.
No problem. Anything I need to run through on anything?
So the question of this liaison meeting with Paul Pace or a meeting with Persimmon. So that, if I remember correctly, did you not write a letter, Sue?
Yeah, and so Chris has written to us about
Yeah.
this, yes.
Well, numerous times.
And so I don't know if he's come back to either.
Not.
No, so he hasn't come back. I thought that might have gone down the gap between the two of us writing.
Okay. I'm curious about on the policing front, because I thought Rachel was the new person in the town, not so much the rural team, but the urban group. Yeah.
That's not the email that I got back from Inspector Air.
Okay.
Inspector Air's words are what I use constructed.
Odd. Okay.
I think there's also more changes because I've seen something for another parish and it's all changed again, so I don't know whether that will apply across the board as well.
So Charlie is consistent. Charlie Crozier.
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the chief executive was another email. Standing there.
The chief constable.
Sorry, chief constable.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Chief constable.
That's fine. I would just query that bit because certainly when at the last Grantry Session meeting, which took place here for half of Brickhill into Paris, Paul was there, as was Rachel. I think it was Rachel Bending who was there as well.
Okay.
So I thought that's very much the urban situation.
There's nothing, it's not an edited email, so there's nothing confidential about it. I'll forward it on to
Okay.
council. Graysdale Development, 54 comments, 51 objections, 0 support. There's been quite a bit of discontent on Woodlands Park as the digger appeared and started turning the earth over prior to any decision. Apparently is the archaeological investigation beginning.
And we as
Which development's that?
Great thing. Behind the Roots Park. On World Bank.
Right,
In Baltimore.
right.
So, Parish Council written in saying we wish to submit representation
Yeah.
to the planning, to the inspection of the borough local plan 2030, as and when that happens. Okay, anything else for Chris? Nick, right, item 11 to receive a report from the borough councillors. I know one has been received from Stephen and Martin Moore and Brian, which has been circulated. There's none from the Brickhill Borough Council, but I know there is an article in preparation for the Brickhill News, so we'll be, essentially covered.
Shows are not here, actually.
Sorry?
I said, it's showing they're not here because this item under East Midlands train franchise is totally incorrect. It's an optimistic assessment of the future.
Which aspect?
Well, we will have no intercity trains.
Well, what he's talking about is the intercity between Corby's and Banks every 30 minutes, which will stop and Bedford.
But that's not intercity, that will be Thamesmen.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Okay, can I suggest we don't discuss it? We've had lots of time to talk about trains for previous meetings. I understand Stuart's point. But shall we move on? If you have any comments to feed that back to the councillors and correct them. Thank you. So moving on to item 12, to consider and agree action following the recent encampment on Foster's Brow. And in the email received from Eamon Donnelly from Brickhill Scouts, he mentioned in there that he would be willing to be involved in any further future discussions and plans to secure or prevent the site from being used by travellers. And I think, Tim, you circulated a note suggesting there's some options or some ideas about what could be done. Do you want to talk to that?
Yeah, can I say what I've been chasing up the police and the borough council on the travellers issue, which can I
Sure.
mention that? So I put in two freedom of information, multiple freedom of information requests. So firstly, I've asked the police to publish their policy. I'm sure Charlie probably has this, but I've never seen.
It is available. It is publicly available. Yeah.
Okay.
On dealing with unauthorised encampments.
Yes. I couldn't find it on the website, so if anyone can point me to this, it would be lovely. But anyway, one way or the other, I'm sort of trying to see if I can that. I'm also trying to get hold of any the agreement that may or may not exist between the borough council and the police. I've asked the police for any sort of other training materials that they're using to train their officers on unauthorised encampments and how they're handling. And I have written to the PCC asking about the specific case of Brickhill Drive encampment and how they, and what PCC thinks about it. I had a response from it was from Rachel Glendenning, the chief inspector, this morning, asserting that they did comply with their policy. So I've sent in a request, freedom of information request today, to see the contents of the site assessment that she actually made about the encampment, to see what the rationale is, because we've been dealing with this for years, even me for several years now. I just want to get to the bottom of what do the police actually believe? They obviously believe they're following their policy. So something I want to understand that better.
Yeah. Chris.
So, one of the recent excursions onto Waverley Green before we had the order preventing such, there was a lot of talk about use of Section 61 and whether or not it was appropriate for the police to use it. And at that point, we seemed to be in a bit of a discussion with the police on whether or not we had, or the general public had met the complaint threshold that enabled Section 61 to be enforced. And we, as I recall, and forgive me if my memory's sketchy, we didn't really get a satisfactory answer as to what that threshold is before they will get involved.
I mean, my belief on this is that I don't think that that's actually the basis on which the decision is made. And that's why I'm sort of trying to actually explore this and work out what it is. There was mention of human rights and whether there are considerations about if you move the travellers on, I don't know, there's some legal implications. I don't know. I mean, the gist is we don't know yet. So I want to get to the bottom of that and understand what the position is there. And at the same time, there's stuff going on nationally about travellers and authorised encampments. There was a consultation last year which we sent in response to, and the response to that was published in February by the government, and they're following up on that with new powers coming to local authorities, and a second consultation, because we all have consultations. So that's what I've done so far. In terms of potential, when I sent my email with a few options about how we could potentially stop travellers getting onto the site and actually stop this happening, I think your options are you can put an injunction on like we did on Waverley Green, but that's a little bit expensive, or we can do CCTV at a similar cost, I think. These are kind of good ideas, but we might be able to do something to solve specific bits of green space, and the problem is we're going to play whack-a-mole with all of these bits of land in Brickhill. I mean, it might be worth doing that. It might be worth, because we've had two that I can recall on this opposite Eagle.
It's more than two. Now that's about third or fourth.
Right. So that might justify the injunction.
Yeah. Can I just comment?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find the email. We had an apology last year from an inspector because when the Waverley Green incursion happened, the police didn't react in the way that perhaps we thought they were going to react. And then I think an inspector was away, and when she came back, she sort of contacted John and along the lines of an apology. I'm not quite sure it's an apology for simply, I don't think it was necessarily the admission of, yes, Section 61 should be used, but it was a bit of an apology. Somewhere in my email box, I'm sure I've got it. I think if we focus on the Brickhill Drive Green area, I think you're quite right that what we would do, if we put anything in place there to deter travellers going on that site, it will push them somewhere else. But I suppose the argument is the impact of when they go on that site and the impact on the scouts, and to a degree an impact on the allotments. I mean, I've only spoken to a few of the allotment people and they haven't had any particular problems this time, but some of the scouts obviously have had a significant problem this time. In the past, I think last time when there was incursion, they did go into the allotments. So
I think there were a few issues with the allotments, but the tenants who were involved said that they thought the travellers were being used as an excuse for things to happen on there, because certainly someone who had their shed effectively empty, and they'd taken things like seed potatoes, various things that were not really what I don't think the travellers would be looking to take. So it was more likely somebody on the allotments themselves who'd been visited, so under the guise of the travellers were there. So it wasn't clear whether you could actually link the two necessarily.
I mean, I think my basic view is that the best we can do is to deter it, and I think we should try and deter. Sorry, Stuart.
I'm slightly confused. What's the difference in status between Waverley Green and Brickhill Drive?
Well, at the moment, obviously, apart from the fact in terms of the management that is legal to the parish council, Brickhill Drive is up there as borough council entirely. There is an injunction in place that covers Waverley Green, which theoretically is supposed to mean that if it happens, if they go on there, they can be sort of moved on very, very quickly. There is a bit of mood music going on to say actually it's not quite as good as we thought it was. And there's actually nothing in writing about that.
It's what the travellers believe, basically.
Possibly.
So, what my question then is, why is that injunction power, 24-hour power, not available for Brickhill Drive?
So you have to apply for it, and the Borough Council very kindly did it for us, for Waverley Green, at no cost to the Parish Council. It's quite a laborious, it is a time-consuming, laborious process. It takes a long time to get through court, and basically, invariably, you have to have a history of incursions.
Well,
So not added to a list they were already doing.
Yes.
I thought they did that. I thought it was they added it to a list of other areas that were going to be
Basically, which
covered.
one?
The Waverley Green
Waverley
one.
Green, yeah.
I don't think they did it on
On
its
its
own.
own,
So is it in the pipeline then? Is the application in the pipeline
For Brickhill Drive Green.
for Brickhill Drive? I mean, given it takes a long time, the sooner you start it, the better.
It is potentially, I'm not sure whether we did formally request it or not. I'd have to go back through it.
You should think about doing that.
Did we?
I don't think they did. I think we're just grateful that they were prepared to take Waverley Green under the existing.
Right.
But now that the travellers understand that and don't go on with it, then Brickhill Drive is a soft time.
But then so are lots of little areas that we can do to cover them all, like you're saying.
I mean, I would like to see, the more we can do to protect with the Brickhill Drive Green, the better.
Yes.
Because essentially, the scout file is very vulnerable.
Exactly.
It's tucked away at the back.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, it will just keep on happening, won't it?
almost certainly.
So the sooner we start the sausage machine going, the better.
Right. So I think we should formally ask for it to be included in the, to be covered by an injunction. But also I think we should be pushing for physical barriers to prevent access. Whether it's, I think Tim suggested trees and someone else suggested boulders.
Yeah,
Was that you as well?
well, I was quoting someone on Facebook
Yes.
suggesting, ditches and hedges.
Get scouts to do it.
Where this has been tried before, it's basically medieval fortification with a ditch and boulders. Yes.
I'm concerned
Quite a
about,
big thing.
concerned about the effectiveness of something. I'd also, since I sent that email, I looked, and that site, the Brickhill Drive site, is approaching half the size of Waverley Green. It's not bigger than I thought it was. And I think it's challenging, but I agree that we should try and do something.
If you going back a few years, when we had the same situation on Ashby Road, there we pushed, and eventually got this bundings, as they're called, which is basically what it is, it's a low mound, with a bit of a ditch
Mound
in front.
ditch, yes.
And it's enough to stop a caravan getting over it
Yes.
without preparation work.
Yes.
Because the problem there is the bunding itself is not able to be more.
Yeah.
So it's visually very,
It becomes unattractive.
yeah, it's not an attractive visual thing.
I quite like the flowers.
Do them, Mark.
So we have a job, okay, so guys, we need to obviously come up with a view on what we want to do about this. Given it's Borough Council land, we need to agree some form of submission if we want to put anything in.
Well, can I suggest?
You may suggest.
That we start the sausage machine if it hasn't already started, which might, as you point out, will take years and years and years and might see us a while. B, we investigate how you can do scheme funding as opposed to obscene funding. I forgot what
Trees, or planting,
Sometimes obstructions
boulders.
to prevent them moving onto the site.
Attractive ones,
Yeah, boulders or hedging or.
So notice in that green, there's in the central bit, it's actually quite wet. You notice that? And they had problems coming through it because they're big, trench.
first water.
Yeah,
Well,
I think it's from the old.
I remember what the first one was.
Okay, yeah.
If it helps with the sausage machine application,
Yeah.
maybe we should be thinking about taking over the green as we did with Waverley from the Borough Council. Because the Borough Council are another potential impediment in the process, aren't they?
The challenge we have with taking stuff over from the Borough Council is that we end up leasing things.
Yes,
And we never have, and therefore it still remains complicated. We have to, every time we want to make a change on Waverley Green, we have to submit that to the Borough Council
To the landlord.
to get their agreement. I just,
Well, only if you want to do a fairground, but...
no, fairground's fine, it's when we dig holes.
Permanent fairground.
Oh, I see.
permanent ones.
Okay, so
Investigate.
let's try and bring this to an end. So we wish to write the Borough Council,
Yeah.
to ask them to include the Brickhill Drive Green on the list of sites covered by the injunction, or whatever it's called. First thing. Chris.
So I was going to say, while that remains effective at Waverley Green,
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily look to go any further with visually obtrusive physical impediments there. We don't want to be digging ditches and bunding if an injunction for the time being will alter behaviour.
And the other option we've discussed is CCTV. And it's just occurring to me as well that location behind the site of Scout, there's a potential through path to the industrial estate there, isn't there? Which
Yeah.
that might be a good strategic point for a camera.
Well,
in that case, the
yeah.
fire tipping areas.
Chairman, when I went out, I emailed out, and when I went out to talk to Eamon about applying for grants and things, the thing the most likely to see there is CCTV. And I've said as well, I think for the allotments it will be a good thing, because we do get a lot of fly tipping up there. It might deter people breaking in, and the various, we're constantly having a lot of problem up there at the minute with people going in, accessing the site, usually because they've got a key, and dumping stuff on there.
Sure.
And anything that deters that would not be a bad thing. People might be concerned up there about privacy, if you're working on the allotment, but on the other hand, we know that our cameras are not monitored 24 hours a day. They're only in access should there be an issue. But anything like this tends to deter that problem, doesn't it?
So the issue with CCTV on that site is there's a lot of very large trees. You've got a fixed, even for a movable camera, you've got a fixed location for it. It'd be very, very easy to outrun.
Well, we might have to think about trimming the tops of the trees a bit.
The huge trees.
They are.
You can have one which will cover the back of the side,
Mm.
the narrow at the back and the side, near the second gate of the allotments. But the problem is the front of it. So is it worth just going back through the process we went through before to get a quote for the CCTV?
You could start by asking them to go and have a look, because it is quite secluded up there, and anything that deters antisocial behaviour is a good thing.
Sure.
When you get to whilst CCTV, as you rightly say, will deter antisocial behaviour, if you have a CCTV camera there, that only becomes attractive to thieves. The sort of thieves who park caravans there, who have no drive-through. So, the only thing that deters these people is the knowledge that the site is covered by section whatever, so then they move on.
Well, we said we would do that.
Yes,
But
okay, but what I'm saying is if you haven't actually got that power and you put the cameras in, The next time they come and park there, we'll simply make the cameras.
But that's not what the cameras, that's not what Emma was thinking about. Really. Emma was more to do with just antisocial behaviour. There, people do go up there, park up there, dump rubbish, all sorts of things get dumped.
Yes. What I'm saying is if you had the cameras there before you dealt with the problem of the travellers, then the next time they go there, they'll simply make the cameras.
Does it depend on where the cameras are mounted? If they're on a big pole with...
They do reconnaissance, you know.
Right. So we agreed to ask the site to be put on the list of sites covered by an instruction. Are we agreed to also ask for some quotes and design options for CCTV?
Is there an obvious reason why the CCTV cameras could not be located within the allotment area, i.e. not on there? I know we've got to look at where there's lighting, but if it's located more within the site, not where the scout hut is.
I would be very concerned then you're simply inviting them to trash the allotment.
Well, you don't, my experience is I'm constantly, it must be at least on a daily basis, get 2 or 3 people email me every day and say, our shed's been broken into, we've had rubbish dumped outside our plot, and there's absolutely nothing we can do about it, and it's more that I'm looking at.
I agree, CCTV will deter that sort of problem. All I'm saying is hold off actually physically installing the camera until you've got the section whatever.
Well, to a degree, the risk with that is it will take a long time to get the injunction thing through. I think it's worth getting a quote on the proposition.
And get quotes and redesign them.
But also, I'd say we're still learning about these, you know, the operational aspects, if you like, of running things like CCTV in terms of damage, vandalism, whatever. So far, we've only had technical issues. Chris?
So, going back to your comments, so I think the problem is the sheer number of cameras you would need to adequately cover the site. That's the biggest impediment, I say. But bear in mind, we have access to multiple temporary, when I say temporary, I mean months rather than permanent installs, temporary CCTV cameras, where the cost of moving them is about I
thought it's factored into their deal.
They've got to put them in a permanent power supply, link them in with the work backhaul. Physically moving the cameras. There's 2 of them currently sat on Woodlands Park. The one at Waverley, is that temporary?
No, that's ours. That's permanent.
So there are multiple temporary cameras that could infill.
Charlie maybe have a camera or maybe 2 that they can ask to be moved around if there's a particular problem in the area.
I don't know, but certainly the camera that I've seen when I've been in the CCTV control room, the distance, if you look at the private park ones, the distance that camera can zoom into gives it a massive area. So it's not fixed in that sense. So like you said, the allotment's a big area. It can't be much bigger than private park. And certainly from those cameras you can zoom to the very far side of it, literally close up. Okay. So I don't know.
Can we agree to get some quotes for the design option and then discuss it later when we've got results from that? Yeah, happy with that? Anything else that people want to raise around this issue? So, great. Thank you. So on to item 13, financial matters to approve bank reconciliations and any accounts of payment have been circulated. Everyone happy with those? Tim?
Did something happen with the freezer?
Yes, and we come to that. Yeah. They then recalled those payments and paid the half, which you should have done, but the payments weren't recalled by the bank in time for them not to be paid. So yes, that's why we have
got 1.5 payments.
Yes, but we have to pay that back. It's in a way, it seems comical, but actually it potentially is a pain because it will push us over our threshold for income and expenditure, which will mean that the minutes our receipts and payments account need to change to a different form, which will mean we'd have to revisit our accounts from X number of years back. Even though technically it's not our fault, it's not our income, it's not our expenditure, but it inflates the figure. It also means that smaller parishes that were exempt, as some of mine, or one of mine is, and don't need to go to the external auditor, will be in that category next year because the turnover will hit. So what the borough have done, and NALC has said there's no, unfortunately that's tough, you will have to assess your account, that's live. But at the minute the borough are talking to Mazars, our external auditors, to see if we can come up with some means by which this can be dealt with. But they have also said smaller parishes that they will cover the cost of that external audit, which is a couple of £100, where many they pay nothing because they don't need to go. So we'll wait and see. But it just seems to me a bit ludicrous that there's someone saying, well, because some of these errors put money into your bank account, it's your problem. It shouldn't be your problem. You've not got that income, you've not made that expenditure. So we'll see. We're waiting is the answer. So that's what it is. So yeah, well, we paid it back, we've got to, it's gone. But I did make a point that I'm writing a cheque, I'm not doing a back payment, I don't like £21,000.
Apart from that, everyone happy with to approve those bank reconciliations and the council payment?
Yes.
Thank you. Item 13.2, to review and adopt the existing financial regulations without change.
Sure, that's fine.
Happy with that? Thank you. Item 13.3, to consider and agree action with the financial support to the Scouts following the recent theft of equipment. As you'll see, I've sent an email down that Eamon sent through to Charlie and Wendy. I spoke to them yesterday morning to chase them for something. Basically, as you can see, there's still though he's got a list of the kit that's been taken, and he thinks he has a figure of up to £3,000 to replace everything, on top of which they've got damage. The window is a small amount, but obviously it will require an entire house to be replaced, and then the drain pipe. And he refers there to the different excesses which are applicable both for the hut and the storage facility. So we don't know how much they're going to get back through their insurance. I know the figure of £2,000 has been talked about, and I just wonder whether we should suggest we're happy to give them £2,000, maybe suggest a £1,000 donation with £1,000, depending on how their insurance plans out, whether it's a loan or a further donation.
Is that legal?
Section 137, is this under section 137?
We can, under all the,
Yes.
under various powers, we've got that power, we've got the general power of confidence
I don't think
we can use.
Well, we've not as well.
Sorry?
I don't think we do have the general.
No, we don't. We've had this discussion. You've never passed that resolution. We need to do it.
I think we did.
Well, we haven't done it this year.
No, that's
so
true.
each year. So because you're now with council, so we'll put it on the agenda. Because you can't put it on the agenda until you know if you're going to have
enough councillors
elected. Well, actually.
Yeah.
Right, so I think you're right, we can use section 137.
You can, because you can spend up to nearly £8 per electoral roll, so you spend nowhere near that.
We can go over 2,000. There's a requirement that you go to report. I don't know how it's spent, but that's a good idea to do anyway. I think all we have to, I think we're fine.
Yeah. Chris?
Do we understand and do we know that if we were to furnish them with 2/3 of their loss value, it would still enable this very, very vital group camp to go ahead on the 17th?
Well, from the tone of the letter, in which he refers to £2,000, that's purely because none of that has been floated. There's no indication that they won't be able to go ahead. Is the way I would look at it.
There's no indication that they will be able to go ahead unless they
I would expect I would expect him to tell us if he thought they wouldn't be able to do it.
I I thought somewhere in the email it said he's ordered the stuff from Go Camping or Go Outdoors, and they can pick it up on the 11th of May. Well, he can't do that unless he's potentially got the money, can he? So maybe they've looked and either assumed that they'll get the insurance money or gone to parents and said, we're going to struggle. Maybe the parents have temporarily chipped in and said, we'll help out. I don't know.
Can I propose a motion? Can I propose that we provide the 3,000 that covers their entire estimated loss and allows the county to go ahead, and we allow them to retain under section 137 1,000 of that to cover their excess, their £500 excess, the breakage to the window of the scaffold that they've not claimed, and the remainder to go towards the increase in their premiums based on this claim.
I don't know if we have the ability. I mean, section 137 just says you can give them a grant, right? I don't know to what extent we can presumably make that conditional and say you have to give £2,000 back.
Yeah. Well, so we normally, when people apply for a grant, we get to see all sorts of paperwork, detailed breakdown of their income, expenditure, savings, the cost of the things they're trying to get permission to, get funding for. So we are doing it in an exceptional way because of the situation that they're in. I think we should be saying, whatever we do, we should be saying to them, do provide that information which we would normally expect to see. And actually, if you look at what they're saying, the cost of what they've had nicked is about £3,000 plus the damage on top of that, plus any increase in their premiums. And so in actual fact, the overall potential financial impact is way over 3,000. It's closer to 4.
I'm quite comfortable with the figure of 3,000, even if it does turn out to be a grant.
Yeah.
I think that is, we can afford that, and it means that they are covered for this time. And then we'll see, even if it turns out that they do give us the money back, then that's all good. As far as I'm concerned, I'm actually quite happy with that.
Chairman, I think you probably have to say you expect to get some of that money back, because I think it would be tricky otherwise, in the sense of, on the one hand, yes, you want to ensure that the CAF goes ahead, but if they're claiming back, say, £2,000 of that equipment, it implies you're giving a grant effectively for £3,000 more equipment, i.e. more than they actually need. So all you want to do is ensure that you replace what they've got, and maybe effectively other things be fixed. I think that would be okay. So in a way, it would be better if he came back to us with effectively a costume from Go Camping, wherever it is, Go Outdoors, wherever it is, effectively a list of what the cost of the whole thing is that they're buying, plus any other things, so that then effectively you can say, we will give up to a certain amount. It may not need to be that much, might it not? So rather than set a figure, you say, well, you go and let us know what, give us effectively a copy of our invoice for what you're going to have to buy. Then the parish council can meet that, can't they?
Sure.
Can I ask you a question? Do you have a sort of annual procedure where people can cap in hand asking for money?
Normally it's £2,000.
We have limits in the budget of 2,000. The only reason it's in there is because nobody ever asks for much more.
Right.
But you can give up to just under £8 per person on electoral roll if you chose to under section 137. So you are nowhere near exceeding that limit, even with £3,000.
So in terms of the budget of £2,000, but we then struggle to find people to apply for that.
Can I suggest something which I'm just a little concerned that people looking in from the outside might think that we're treating the scouts with undue favouritism and that we're giving them money which might not be available to other groups if other things happen. Maybe we could loan them the money against an application for them to formally request funding through the normal procedure. Loan so that the camp can go ahead.
That's sort of what sort of saving percent.
I think we're all in the same sort of area there. You know, I think we're probably looking at combinations of loan and grant. I think we're all happy to give them a grant at some form. We're happy to make sure that the camp goes ahead by providing more money than you have to normally give as a grant. Just a question of getting the formal words. So
it's an emergency loan.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So an emergency. So it's an emergency loan for 3,000 with the option of either paying it all back or submitting a grant section 137 grant application for up to £1,000 of that loan.
I would say it's to follow the normal grant application process for the parish council. So we have a standard process of the form they have to fill in, the paper they have to provide. If they do that, we can then assess it in a new way. Yeah. So don't worry about the 137 bit. You know, there's how we put the cash in there is a separate matter. But if they follow the normal grant application process, we can do it, you know, properly. So.
Okay, so you're going to give effectively an emergency £3,000, aren't you?
Yeah.
Which will be partly loan and partly a grant, but you will expect them to submit a grant application to go through the normal procedure. After the money is effectively been loaned, you're going to have to lend them that before they get around to completing that paperwork.
Yeah. Everyone happy with that? Good, thank you very much. So,
are you going to speak to Amy about it?
Yeah, next one then, 13.4, to note the financial statement to the end of March 2019. Can it be circulated?
Yeah, there's nothing much to say. That's the figures that come off the Alpha system. Just to make a point, Mark, the Chair's report from the annual meeting, because this will form part of it.
Sure.
So the two things go in, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then 13.5, to approve the revised asset register.
There's nothing much. It was simply the replacement laptop, which was bought in March, so that had to be added on. Okay.
I'm happy with that.
We will need to revise it again shortly because we'll be getting the CCTV invoice for Waverley Greens, and we'll add it on then.
Okay. And then item 14 then, to agree to the use of Waverley Green for the football fun day on the 13th of July and Mr Gumbel's fun fair from the 24th to the 31st of July. So this is the same deal as last year.
Well, it's always well received as the Mr Gumbel's fair. People like it. It's reasonably well priced.
He managed the site well
he does, he
and tidied up after himself, so...
And so is football fun day. They're the same.
Yeah.
They look after it well.
Is everyone happy with those?
Yeah, it's very good.
It was safe, it's done safely, you know, barriers and stuff like that.
So we've never had any criticism of it. Even people in Avon Drive who live opposite never say anything. It never goes on late, which is a sensible time. It's targeted at younger children, it's not teenagers and groups that are going to get rowdy and noisy. Okay.
So moving on to item 15 then, to understand the process for the completion of the election expenses form and declaration of interest form. So election expenses, for those people who do not have a contested election, I'm expecting probably have lots of zeros in to fill in. Just making sure we...
Do I have to declare the cost of my rally?
Is that a bike?
No, I think
Oh,
we're
rally.
Well, everyone, even people like yourself, if you didn't incur any expenditure, you still need to...
Yes, I understand. If Sue can give me a form,
No, I emailed them out. I emailed you a link.
You may...
that doesn't work.
I'll get sent out a second email with the working link.
And I put, I did.
Well, not on my Steam.
Well, I don't.
On Steam.
Yeah, it's not something we have. It's, you need to go to, if you go to the Electoral Commission and just search it, you pick it up, because it's not something we have, it's the electoral commission you get the forms from.
I thought I received one from the borough.
Yeah, I did as well.
So I didn't post it one physically by the borough.
That's true.
Yeah, you can
we
contact
did
us,
receive, we
yeah,
did receive
contact
it.
us.
We have received them as
Well, in the past, I
candidates.
think, yeah.
In our case, because we were
Yeah.
fighting it out in Brickhill East,
Yes.
we received, and actually even unopposed candidates.
So then, Stuart should have been sent one, wasn't Stuart?
Yeah.
Stuart's in your
I have
group, too.
absolutely zilch from the borough council.
Interesting.
Perhaps one of you two can forward a copy of
I'm sure
whatever it
we'll
was
find-
you sent.
Okay.
Because I couldn't see anything on the borough, I did search borough council site, I couldn't see anything about election claim, but I thought it may well be that it was too soon and they hadn't got around to
No.
producing paperwork or something. But yeah.
So,
Okay.
I shall have to find the form then from Sarah.
yeah.
So,
Okay, good point, Stuart.
yeah, I think.
So please do submit it though, get out of the way.
Otherwise I'm disqualified.
You never know.
I've done another election.
No, it doesn't matter, it's the election expenses, they're up to you, aren't they, if you claim? It's the declaration of interest that you register of interest that you need to
Well,
do
but
there.
if you don't complete it, you could be struck off or
Struck on. Struck on.
Yeah, so on the declaration of interest forms,
There's only half signed your name, I'm just curious. Think you might go through it.
right, so the actual declaration of interest form, again, please, if you've done one before, please review it and update it as
You
appropriate.
have to submit a new one. I'm going to say this because Parish Council met last night, despite me sending out the email. It does say in there, there's a bit that says clerk's letter, but I've circulated that because it is for you to read, because it explains what it is you need to do. And it does say, please submit it electronically. And so 3 people turned up last night with them handwritten and gave them to me. Well, I'm now posting them back out because they've not completed them properly. So I've put a note in with them saying, well, now you're going to have to post them back to me. And if they're still not right, I'm going to post them back to you and you have to post them back again. So it is easy, it's a Word document, isn't it? So it's much easier to do it. And then if you email them in to me, I can then look and see if I can see anything that is or isn't right. And then if it needs changing, I can just email it back to you. But if it's physically done, then, you know, people...
Does this go straight to the borough?
Yes, well, if it says send them initially to me, and then I can
Okay.
send them on to the monitoring officer.
And then it's published on the Borough
And then,
Council website.
yeah, and then we put a link on our website to them.
Perfect.
So that's all we do. I think the one that I've noticed people seem to have fallen down a gap with is if you've got beneficial interest in land. I noticed of the 2 I had last night, they put no, when actually they have property. And I assume that even if you rent it, I presume if you rent a house, you've still got beneficial interest in the land there, haven't
If you rent
Which
it
we have
to
tried.
somebody.
No, if you, so
Promise.
what if you rented a house? Do you still not
I
have a
don't think
technically
so, no.
beneficial interest in that?
So if you own a house, if you own land with a house on it, that counts as beneficial.
But the people concerned do own the house, well, I'm assuming they do, I think they do. And they've said no, because I think they think it means a patch of land, you know, a field or something, not your house that you...
When in doubt, add it.
Yeah, okay.
Any questions on that?
And there's quite a detailed explanation on that sheet with it, so...
Right, on to item 16 then, to review the outstanding matters and agree to any further action. And Tim's been busy reading again and commenting on the
I
subject.
know, I'm so keen. House are elected. No sort of me.
You obviously don't have much work to do, do you?
But I think I did go back to Tim and say that the reason that was on, Chris put it on a long time ago, and it wasn't purely talking about finance, it's talking about being seen to be treating different groups on a similar basis in a way, wasn't it? Not seeming to be...
So we did try and follow that up, and we didn't find a way
No,
meaningfully to support any of the St Martin's Faith groups.
No.
So I would propose that that's no longer relevant.
Okay.
Take that.
we'll take that off. The one that we can probably mention is now back to Brickhill Community Centre, because she was asking the question. We've had the quotes in for a very long time, and we need to think about those whoever's doing it. I just want to make the point that it isn't me not looking at the quotes,
No.
it's...
So I've got 3 quotes, we've had 3 quotes for the boiler, and I was going to assess the 3, compare them, and then separate it. And obviously we talked about, it's one of the chronicles because we never know how long the current system will last for, but we think we need to replace it at some point. So we're trying to draw the 3 together, the 3 quotes together to allow a fair comparison between the 3, so we're comparing apples with apples and highlighting any differences. So I will endeavour to circulate that in the next couple of days.
My understanding, I think, with the lift is that I think they're due in on the 15th of May.
This is to seal the lift.
Yeah, to do the lift pit. So I left it with Cooks, the company based up in Hull, who are about the only company we could find in this country that do this, and Otis and the Community Centre and Sue to work between themselves as to what. They came back with the 15th of May. I went back to Cooks and Otis and said, you need to be obviously make sure that that is a date that fits in with the community centre. So I've not heard any more. So I'm assuming, I gave them all the details, so I'm assuming it's right. Yeah. So hopefully.
But at least it's in the hand.
Yeah.
We've got a solution to the problem, which is
Okay.
good.
I don't think there's anything else on that list that right now we can do anything with really.
So I'm going to take item 18 next, which is simply to note that the date of the next meeting is the 6th of June 2019, 7:30 here. And now we have another item. So under the Public Bodies, Admissions to Meetings Act 1960, as extended by Section 100 of the Local Government Act 1972, the press and public are excluded from this item in the agenda. So therefore we're going to end the recording of the meeting, and we won't resume it because it'll be the very last item. Is that okay, Chris?
Yes, that's fine.